No one from the city ever expressed any concern or sorrow for his loss. Put aside the issue of fault. There was never anyone who just came forward and said, "We're awfully sorry, how are you doing?"
Personal injury lawyer Marty Rutberg says the city of Poughkeepsie government seems to be detached from the city it's supposed to be running. Rutberg recently represented a 72-year-old man after an incident at Cal Rock Park. The park sits almost right under the Mid-Hudson Bridge, and it's the perfect place to see the fireworks on the 4th of July. That's what his client, William Boggle, thought 3 years ago. But that night, after the fireworks, something went horribly wrong.
A young man who was pulling his vehicle out of a parking spot right near this area where this barrier is. He was pulling out in reverse. It was a tight fit. There was a car behind him that was in the way. A couple of folks tried to give him direction. He came back, and when he thought he had it clear, he gave it a little more gas and backed up far enough that his trailer hitch hit this concrete barrier, and it fell over in place, toppled over, and crushed my client's left foot, and 3 days later they had to amputate most of the foot.
Rutberg criticizes the city for not keeping up with maintenance and for not using proper parking barriers.
Instead of using a gate or a chain or any of the types of things that you would find in a park to block traffic, they took an old, what's called a half jersey barrier, which is shaped like an L. So it's only got a foot bracing itself on one side. So it's unstable. I'm not hitting on the current administration. This problem has been going on for 20 to 30 years.
A Dutchess County jury found the city 75% liable and the driver 25% liable. The agreement reached was for $1.5 million, and the driver's insurance would pay $100,000.
The driver admitted fault, by the way. I mean, he was in tears even now 3 years later. As soon as he saw my client family in the court, he was hugging them and saying he was sorry. The city denied any responsibility whatsoever for the accident.
Rutberg says the city is self-insured up to $1 million, and its outside insurance policy will address the remaining $400,000.
To be underinsured, which is what they are, they had inadequate insurance, is a travesty. It's just more of the same. It's not the way to run a business or a city. It's like having a $1 million deductible. Surely that made the insurance less expensive. But look at the cost now that the city has to pay this judgment. And there are others, I mean, not always of this profile, but accidents happen. And self-insurance is common in businesses and government. But when you self-insure, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to have money in the bank, a special fund to cover your deductible if something happens. The city apparently didn't do any of that. When you're running a big business, which that's really what city government is at its essence, is a business. It needs to be run like one. So you have people in your business doing things. One of them makes a mistake and hurts somebody, makes a mistake and hurts somebody. You have to come forward and say, you know, at least I'm sorry it happened. If at fault, I would like to think some of us would admit fault, but I'm not begging that point now. It's just no one ever showed up. No one ever demonstrated the least bit of concern about this horrifying accident at a public gathering. I'm hoping to be invited to speak to the city government or an open community meeting of some kind to show the public what the jurors saw, the pictures of this thing, and how unfortunate it was that it was done this way. And I would like to use the case as a way to at least start a new energy.
For HVNN.com, I'm Donna Ryer.